Hello students, welcome back to another class of social science. So today, we will be continuing with the chapter that we have started in the previous class. Now in the previous class, we have started with agriculture, that is your chapter 7, isn't it? And in the previous class, we have discussed about the importance of agriculture. We have also discussed about the factors, the factors that depends on that agriculture depends on. Then we have also discussed about the different types of farming. And as I've said before, in this chapter we are focusing mainly on India, the Indian agriculture. So today we will be discussing about the technological and institutional reforms. So you can turn to page 98, page 98 will be starting from there. So now what happens here is, now as I've said, India, 2/3 of India's population, they practice agriculture. Then India is also an agricultural country. So because of that, what happened was the Indian government, after its independence, the Indian government also, they came to realize that they need to do something. They need to do something where they can also help out the farmers, plus the country can also get more income. Because here when we talk about agriculture, we are not only talking of food, we are not only talking about the food that the people are eating. Here when we say agriculture, we are also talking about, apart from food, we are also talking about the raw materials, the raw materials that are being produced by the agriculturists for the industries. So that is also very, very important, and that is why the Indian government, they came to realize that they needed to do something, and so they came up with all these technological and this, we call it as the land reforms and so on. Now when we talk about land reforms, now in the India's first 5-year plan, 5-year plan means within that 5 years, what are the plan, what are the things that the government wants to achieve. So those are called as the 5 years plan. So in the first 5-year plan, what happened was the main focus, the government, they put their main focus on land reform, land reform. Because if you go back, in the lower classes, you have discussed about how the Britishers ruled over India, isn't it? And how they have destroyed the economy of India and so on. And there you have also discussed about, we call it as the Zamindari system, isn't it? Zamindari system. Now Zamindari system means, this is Zamindar means we are talking about the landlords. Now coming to the present day, in class 10, we have also done a little bit on, we call it as feudalism, isn't it? Now, feudalism, that is a word which has been derived from the word, fief, Fief means a piece of land given to someone on condition of service. So that is called as feudalism. Now, piece of land means we are talking about field, So here what happened is, all the field, the landlords, they will be owning a big field, so what they will do is they will give a small part of their field to the farmers, and those farmers, we used to call them as landless farmers, landless farmers, because they are farmers but they don't own field, so the zamindars, what they will do is they will give a small part of their field to the farmers. The farmers, they will cultivate that field, but during harvest, during harvest time, after their harvest is done, they will divide their harvest into two, and half the farmers will take it, half they will give it to the landlord. So that was the system practice, and because of this, the farmers, they used to lead a very miserable life because their field is very small, it is not sufficient for them, and on top of that, they had to share it with the landlord, isn't it? And so because of this, after India got her independence, the Indian government, they decided to abolish the zamindari system, They decided to abolish or do away with the landlord system. And then another point is they also started distributing field to the farmers basing on the number of family members. Okay, that is, if the family member is more, they might get a bigger field comparing to a family which is small. Okay, so this is how the Indian government, they decided to do away with zamindari system. Then they also decided to do away, they decided to abolish, we call it as collectivization. Okay, collectivization means where this is a system where all the fields will be held under one authority. Okay, everything will come under one man, and it will be mainly to do with that guy, the man who will be distributing the field into small parts to the different farmers. So this is called as collectivization. So the Indian government, they also decided to abolish this collectivization system. Okay, so all these were done by the Indian government because they want to help out the farmers, so to say. Then apart from these land reforms, okay, the Indian government also, they came up with lots of we call it as technical reforms. Okay, now for this you turn to page 99. Okay, it has been written in points, so let's go through those. So this technical reforms, apart from the land reforms, what the government did in order to help out the farmers is, the first point is, it says that subsidy on electricity. Okay, electricity, seeds and fertilizers. Now subsidy means where the farmers, okay, they will be paying only half. If it is if the cost is 100 in the market, the government will give them at subsidy. So that means it can be 50, or what we meant is lesser than the price that are being sold in the market. Okay, so that is called as subsidy. So the government, they came up with subsidy of electricity, okay, then to do with seeds, then fertilizers and so on, so that the poor farmers, they can also get access to it. Okay, because now it is being given to them on subsidy. Okay, then the second point is the government. Okay, the government also, they started using all these radios and televisions. Okay, radios and TVs were also used in order to make the farmers be aware of all the changes that is going on regarding agriculture. That means through radios and television, okay, the government, they were able to make the farmers be aware of all those changes, like what they are supposed to do, okay, in order to get better result, better harvest and so on. So all these were also implemented by the government of India. Okay, then they also gave crop insurance to protect the farmers against losses. Okay, crop insurance were also given. Now when we say crop insurance, what we meant here is, in simple words, okay, the farmers, they have cultivated they are cultivating their field, but let's say because of rainy season, okay, the rainfall did not occur at the right time, and because of that their crops are being spoiled. Okay, so they could not get enough harvest, or they could not get good harvest. So here what can happen is, they can get insurance from the government. Okay, the government will give them crop insurance. So that is what we meant by insurance. Okay, so this is also, or this was also implemented. Then apart from this, okay, the Indian government also, they started forecasting weather. Okay, we call it as weather bulletin. Okay, so weather bulletin means they started telling the farmers, they started broadcasting how the weather is going to be, whether it will rain or not. Okay, so that the farmers, they will know about the situation also. So all these were implemented in the technical reforms. Okay, then another one is, apart from this, they also set up well needed network of rural banking. Okay, rural banking for the farmers to help them, that is to make the farmers get loan from the banking, loan from the banks. So this was also given or implemented. Then they also decided to protect the farmers from the middlemen. Okay, the government of India, they also wanted to protect the farmers from the middleman. Now, when we say middleman, what we meant here is, okay, let's say the farmers, okay, the farmers, they are cultivating their field in order to sell it in the market, okay, they are cultivating crops to sell it in the market, but they themselves, they cannot go, they are not able to go to the market in order to sell their goods. So what they have to do is they have to give it to someone, and that person will go and sell it. So that person is called as the middleman, okay. And sometimes because of situation, what happen is the middleman, they try to exploit the farmers, because the farmers, majority of them are illiterate. So what will happen is the middleman, he will try to exploit the farmers. So in order to avoid this, the government also, okay, they decided to check on the farmers so that they will not be exploited by the middleman, okay. Then another one is, we call it as the KCC. KCC means we are talking about Kisan Credit Card, okay. So this Kisan Credit Card, then Accident Insurance Scheme, which is called as the PAIS, okay. Everything is in your textbook. So all these were also implemented by the government, okay, in order to protect the farmers. Because as I've said before, India is an agricultural country and thousands of people, they depend on the farmers, okay. Then another one is, apart from this, okay, in order to make or the farmers get more harvest, or in order to get better economy, okay, what the Indian government did was they also came up with this thing. We call it as all those different scheme or different developments that came up. And one, we call it as the Green Revolution, okay. We call it as the Green Revolution. Now, when we talk about Green Revolution, okay, we are talking about agriculture. Green Revolution, we are talking about agriculture, okay. So here, what we meant is, okay, the farmers, when we talk about Green Revolution, a large increase, where there will be a large increase in the crop production, and all these will be possible by using, okay, artificial fertilizers, or we call it as the pesticides, or high yielding crops, etc. So all these were used, that is the government, they introduce all this so that the farmers, they will be able to get a good harvest, okay, good harvest. So that is called as the Green Revolution. And in India, we already went through the Green Revolution, because the Indian government, they wanted to protect the farmers. On top of that, they also know that the agriculture, they are the backbone of India's economy. So to make sure of that, they introduced this Green Revolution. So we underwent through Green Revolution, and Green Revolution means, as I've said, where better seeds, okay, or fertilizers, manures, all those are given so that the farmers, they will get a good harvest, okay. So that is called as the Green Revolution. Then apart from this Green Revolution, we also have another one which is there in your textbook. It is called as the White, isn't it? The White Revolution. Now, when we talk about White Revolution, we are also talking about, okay, or it can also be called as the Operation Flood, okay. White Revolution is also called as the Operation Flood. So please remember the names, because questions may be twisted, okay, it will be twisted. So White Revolution is also called as the Operation Flood, okay. And here, when we talk about White Revolution, okay, White Revolution means we are talking about the increase in milk production, okay, the increase in milk production. So milk, or to do with milk marketing, okay, then all those dairy development, all those are called as the White Revolution, or as I've said, Operation Flood, okay. So this Green Revolution and the White Revolution, the Indian also, they underwent all this thing in order to get more profit, okay, or in order to make the country's economy better, okay. So all these were introduced by the Indian government, okay. So with that, we have come to the end, but we will just do a recap again, okay? So in order to make sure that you are keeping up with your textbook and hope you have understood, okay? So in this chapter, we have discussed about agriculture, isn't it? Agriculture is the process of producing food, okay? But apart from producing food, it is also to do with the producing raw materials, okay? Raw materials for the industries. Then we have also discussed that regarding agriculture, okay, it is closely linked with human society, because it was in the beginning we have discussed about the early man, where they moved from one place to another place in search of food. But after they discovered agriculture, they started leading a settled life. So all these we have discussed in the previous session, isn't it? Then we have also discussed that in India, because as I've said before, in this chapter we are focusing mainly on India's agriculture. So regarding India, okay, it says that two-third of India's population, they do agriculture, okay? Two-third of India's population is engaged in agriculture. Then India is also called as an agricultural country, okay? So through this, all these shows that agriculture is very, very important for India, and that is why it is also called as the backbone of India's economy, okay? Then we have also discussed that agriculture, it depends on two factors. One is called as the physical. Physical means we are talking about the climate, isn't it? The location, the relief. Then the second factor is, we call it as human factor, okay? Human factor, we are talking about the cultural practices or the cultural background of the people and so on. So these are the two factors that agriculture depends on, okay? Then we have also discussed about the three different farmings, okay? The three different farmings that is practiced by the Indians. One is called as the primitive farming, primitive, slash and burn, or June cultivation. It means the same thing, okay? So here what the farmers does is, they will clear out a piece of land, especially on the mountain slope, okay? Trees will be cut down, it will be burned, okay? The trees will be burned so that they will add more to the soil, manure to the soil, and after that they will do the cultivation. So that is called as the primitive methods, okay? Then the second farming is, we call it as the intensive subsistence farming, okay? Subsistence, where the farmers, they are cultivating the field only for their use, okay? Only for their use, not to sell it in the market. So that is called as intensive subsistence farming, okay? And in this type of farming, the field is very small, okay? The field will be small, the field is small because the farmers, they are cultivating only for themselves, for their family use, okay? So it is small. Then the third farming is, we call it as the commercial farming. Commercial farming, where the farmers or the owners, okay, they will be producing food. We call it as cash crops. They will be cultivating cash crops, okay? Cash crops means cultivating those crops that they want to sell it in the market, where they can get it in terms of money, in return for money, okay? So those are called as cash crops, okay? And in this type of commercial farming, the field will be very big. Then the owners, okay, they will be using all those fertilizers, better seeds, manures, pesticides, everything will be used in order to get more products or in order to get more harvest. Then on top of that, they will also be needing lots of we call it as migrant laborers, okay? So those are the three farmings that are practiced in India: primitive, intensive, and commercial, okay? Then we have also discussed about the three cropping season, okay? The three cropping season. One is called as Rabi, isn't it? The second one is called as Kharif, and the third one is called as the Zaid. That is what we have discussed. So these are the three cropping season. Then regarding the Rabi crops, these are sown in October to December and harvested in April to June. Then talking about this Kharif, okay? Kharif crops, these are sown in June and then they are harvested in September to October. Then coming to Zaid, okay? These Zaid crops, this is a short cropping season and these crops are usually sown in between this other two cropping season, that is in between the Rabi and Kharif. So those are the three cropping season, okay? Then we have also discussed that since agriculture is considered as the backbone of India's economy, the government also, they decided to do lots of things for the farmers so that they will be able to give the country will be able to get more economy, okay, more revenue. And basing on that, they introduced all those land reforms, isn't it? The first 5-year plan, the main focus was on land reforms. Then they also decided to abolish, that is, do away with zamindari system. Zamindari system means where the land, all the land will belong to one person, that is the zamindar. And what he will do is he will give a small part of his field to the farmers. The farmers, they will cultivate that field. During harvest, they will divide their harvest into two. Half they will take it, half they will give it to the landlord. So that system was also abolished. Then collectivization was also abolished. So all these were done by the government in order to help out the farmers. Then apart from this, we have also discussed that the government, they also introduced lots of technical reforms, isn't it? That is, they decided to give subsidy, okay, on electricity, seeds, fertilizers, all these were given to the farmers, isn't it? Then they also started broadcasting a weather bulletin, like how the weather will be this year or next month, how the weather is going to be, so that the farmers will be able to be aware of the weather. Then they also started through this radio and television, they also started broadcasting all those new things, okay, that have come up in agriculture, so that the farmers, they will also be aware of it and they will practice those in their field where they can get more harvest. So all these we have discussed in the technical reforms, isn't it? Then apart from this, we have also discussed about this green revolution. Green revolution, that is to do with foodstuff, agriculture, where all those better seeds, fertilizers, everything were given so that the farmers will get more, okay? Then we have also discussed about the white revolution, and white revolution is also called as the Operation Flood, isn't it? And white revolution, that is to do with milk, okay, milk products. So all these we have discussed in this chapter. So I hope you were able to understand something, okay? So please keep on reading your textbook. Thank you for tuning in and stay safe.